100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Hello and welcome to Platos Cave, coming to you from Australia. The most spooktacular continent on the planet. That's right. We're coming into Halloween for Revolution Radio on revolution.radio. That's right. In fact, next week, now we won't have a show on Halloween. Ah, man. What a kick in the teeth. But still, hope you're going to enjoy today and next week as well. But yes, Halloween is just around the corner. But before I talk about that, let's just say that this is just a funded radio, which means you can support the station with your coin and folded money and crypto and all kinds of things. All you have to do is go to the revolution.radio website. There's a follow the bouncing ball, really easy kind of thing to do. And if you can donate, that would be awesome. Maybe you can't. That's okay. Like, we keep saying, things are tough all over. Tell people about the station. Tell them about our shows, all the shows. But, if you see us out in the wild, like, subscribe, share, comment. Had some great comments just in the last couple hours. So thank you for those. I've answered your comments if you want to take a look. And come and see the full-length show. If you're listening to a short somewhere out there. This probably won't be in the short, so I don't know why I'm saying it, because if you're here, you're already listening to the full-length show. Hey, Opa, hey, Opa, hey, Opa, hey, Opa. Oh, good God, let's have that brain collect at the bottom of my brain pan. Now, you can listen to us on any platform, including at home on a Grace tabletop digital radio. That's pretty awesome. Archives are free. Another good reason to donate if you can. Please do that. But before we start broadcasting at Unanga, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land from which we broadcast. And for Dave.
It's the Dark and Jung.
Thank you, sir. For myself, of course, the Darak people. And we would like to express our respect to elders past, present, and future.
That's true.
Thank you very much. It is Halloween. My kids just finished decorating Halloween cookies, pumpkins and witches' hats and bats and ghosts. That's right, with my wife's American sister. She's here from Texas.
Oh,
so she's also treat us to. Yeah, it's pretty cool. She's also going to treat us, she says, to Thanksgiving dinner. So it should be fun. Let's for 5 minutes, Dave. Let's just talk about something light because
please.
Well, how's your life? How's your life?
My life is
What's
just perpetually being tired, and that's okay because earning money is fantastic. Having contact with customers is fantastic, and being successful at doing what I do. Mickey knows what I do, so being successful at that, having wins, you know what? It's no longer soul-crushing. And I think that's remarkable that
nice.
Today stands here in front of you, or sits in front of you, is someone who enjoys their work.
That's fantastic. Look, purpose is really important in life. And if you have found purpose, I mean real purpose, I mean something that makes you happy, that maybe even helps other people, something, where you can actually see something grow, something positive to develop, I mean, any of those things that fill your life with purpose, they're fantastic. And one of the worst things that we do as a society is take purpose away. Because we've done it from a lot of native peoples, right?
Yeah, totally.
North American native peoples, African native peoples, South American native peoples, Australian native peoples, not so much Asia or Europe, but certainly in those on those continents, we've taken purpose away. We've destroyed a way of life. Yeah, okay. But then we also took purpose away. We took struggle away. Struggle and the strive I mean, not extreme struggle and strife, of course, but struggle and strife are part and parcel of life. And to overcome, as Dave has just put, I mean, Dave overcame a period of fairly significant obstacles in his life recently, and now he's emerged cocoon, or butterfly-like out of the cocoon. He has metamorphosized.
My beautiful wings.
Yes, why are they so crushed? Don't put them in with all the bedded linen. That's not good.
I don't know that reference. But mine's from Ants, I think it is. Remember the circus creatures from the animated?
This was original. Well, you're welcome. Original.
Yeah. Okay, original. Yeah, there you go. That was pretty good. Actually.
Don't put it in. Don't put it in with the bed linen, eh? Okay.
My lucky red cat.
No, but purpose is important, and having purpose, and feeling that you're contributing, feeling that your life matters is important, right? And we've taken that away from a lot of people. We really have, and that's a shame. And there's no excuse for it, and it's really hard to rectify that situation, especially because most of these activities have affected many generations. So it's a multi-generational effect, and it just carries on. It carries through. Alcoholism, drug abuse, I guess a general notion of lacking self-worth seems to come in there as well. And I think the drugs are just a manifestation of that lack of purpose. You have to fill the void with something. What do you fill the void with? I mean, ask yourself this. I mean, why do we have a drug problem in the world? I mean, okay, in America, there's a drug problem because you were oversubscribing painkillers. That's why you have a drug problem now in Middle America. Okay, that's why. But overall, though, if you really look at it, and so drugs are an escape, right? Drugs are an escape, and what are you escaping from? Your mediocre life, your meaningless life, your troubles, your sorrows, things like that. Sure enough. I reckon if people had purpose, I mean true purpose, where you deeply feel, that you accomplished something. I'll give you a simple example. When I was younger, I was working on building sites, but I was also mowing lawns, right? And I remember this one lawn, right, that I mowed. I remember it very well. It was up to my chest, and it was a fairly large piece of land. There was other stuff in there, so a lot of cleanup to do. It took me hours to do it, and it was hot, summertime, right? I was sweating, and it was dirty, and it was itchy, and all the things sticking to your body, and then, but you're finished. Then you're finished, right? You're finished, you've done the job, and I think I got $50, I think. Something like that. A lot of money back then.
Those were the days.
So I went home, had a shower. Those were the days. Went home, had a shower, felt really great. Took my girlfriend to the movies, and I remember I had an ice cold Coke, and I'm pretty sure I had peanut M&Ms, right? And we're watching a movie. I don't remember what the movie was, but I felt so great. And I remember this particular, I mean, of course, many times, but this particular moment, I remember because I did feel like, and I was thinking about it too, like there was a sense of accomplishment. Yes, I did earn this movie and these snacks and this time, with someone. I earned it. I spent the whole day sweating and on hard yakka. It wasn't just mowing the lawn, it was ripping out things and whatever, right? Anyway. But yeah, so I felt like I'd accomplished something. And this feeling of accomplishment is something that people need. But they also need to have that accomplishment acknowledged, right? If you can. I mean, that's ideal. It's an ideal situation. And we're taking that away from more and more people, right? By denying people the chance at a good life. And AI is going to make it worse yet for a lot of people, especially the younger generation, where the jobs that Dave and I started in, well, they simply no longer exist. They're just not there anymore, right? Is it going to happen tomorrow? No, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but it's going to happen soon enough, right? It's going to happen pretty soon. So I don't know. I mean, how do you see this impending? I don't want to call it AI doom, but certainly this massive change that's coming.
Well, it's already a good title, and I think look, if it's a working title, I'm happy to roll with it because AI doom is really what is happening. The people who
another original.
The people who are implementing this in our companies, in our governments, in our day-to-day lives. Doesn't matter where you are. They don't realize that they're part of the problem, part of the collapse. It's great to have automation, and it's great to have an easy thing. Oh, you know what? All I have to do, because I used it today. I had a great thing that I needed to do, and I thought I'll use Copilot to grab a whole bunch of data, which would have taken me a while. And I'm quite good at prompts, so I made a nice little prompt, asked it to go do things, and it did, and voila, it spat out a report of all of the collected data. I didn't have to tell it where to look. It already knew because it's Copilot and it's already in your 365 account. Now, this isn't a lesson on how to do this stuff, but I asked it to, can you graph the results? And it did that successfully as well. Now, that would have taken me probably about 5 hours to gather all that data together and put something together into a report format. And it did a rather good, a good rendition of what I would imagine is a good report, although it still had the telltale Copilot icons, font, font size, the formatting, everything looked like it was Copilot created. And that's okay, but because it's not going to go anywhere except for just an internal thing that I was working on. You've got to know that every single interaction with it, it's a learning process, and it just learns more until there's let's call it a balance of power, making a BOP, or like a threshold, economy of scale, and whatever you want to call it, where it is now already capable. I know that people are using it to train to do a role. It's like you're passing your knowledge on through it to better do it. You might call it agentic AI, where you make an agent to do something. But eventually we know, Meki, you and I know, that it learns. We've proven that it learns. We've both on the same call at the same time, asked the same question, and we got a reasonably similar answer, but only one of us proposed something to it that was in addition to it, another single step thought process to be able to filter what it had already given us on a general perspective without saying what the topic is. And then one of ours gave us the correct answer when we included that thought process. So on the call, I asked the same question again, and voila, it included the thought process that Meki had included into it. I didn't even ask to revise it. I just asked it again, and it gave the answer that was Meki's collective thought process into it. So knowing that it's doing this, it didn't incorporate any new data. It just had a different way of thinking about the same question, and therefore it provided a different answer. Yes, you can keep hitting the prompt, but you won't get a different answer unless you're training it to do something. And I think they're all training. I don't think they're closed. I do think that there's a point at which the simple AIs, the ones that are task-driven, question, answer, Q&A AIs, are still learning. And I don't think there's going to be a point I don't think it's going to be very far away where the people who are currently using it at work to train it are going to be losing their own roles because of it. And the people who have, from above, who have organized the use of it, they don't realize that they're in danger at some point as well, until we get to the very top of the organization, where even that role eventually is replaced. And then everybody's out of work. I mean, everybody. The only reason... So I'm going to reinstate this proposition, Meki, and I'll hand it to you. The only reason anyone is employed in any role inside a company at all from the inception of the computer, since that period, I've seen full automation destroy the employment capabilities that people were contributing to the business, because the only reason they were employed was because the computer couldn't do it. Remember, there was a whole floor of typing pool instead of a photocopier. Once the photocopier was gone, then there was no more typing pool, because the typing pool copied documents, specifically even for the military. That's what they did. Now, there isn't even, I don't think anyone uses a printer at all, but there's still a printer in a corner. We've evolved past printing now, because you can get an online signature. Doesn't matter anymore. Everyone's using roughly the same systems. It doesn't matter. So then you can have things automatically respond to email, and then it becomes like a person, even though it still says, I'm a large language model, and my results might be inaccurate. You need to check them. Yeah, I know. I'm on to you, AI. I love the AI, and I love the leader. So, would you agree, Mackie, that the only reason humans are employed is because there isn't a computer that can do that job?
Yes. So essentially, the only reason a human has employment is because a machine can't do it better yet, or cheaper. Maybe better, maybe the same, but not cheaper yet. And really, that's. I mean, this is what really the first phase of globalization saw. You know, it was the offshoring of labor, the labor arbitrage, right? So we couldn't get a machine to do it, okay, but how can I find the cheapest possible labor on the planet? And that's what they did. They found it.
And didn't they run with that one? They ran with that bat.
Oh, take that to the end zone. Right, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. I mean, they did take it to the end zone. They ran with it. They scored all the tries and all the touchdowns. Because it came with other benefits. It came, with very little labor laws, no protection for the workers, shoddy conditions in general, long working hours. Sorry, I don't understand the question.
It came with what? It came with bonuses for the people who saved all that money for the business.
Oh, of course, absolutely. No bonuses for the worker, though.
Incentive. No, what worker? What? Who?
What?
Oh, but they're all sure you don't have to worry about them.
Yeah, so what we're seeing now is a replacement of human labor with a variety of different things. So we're seeing a replacement of human labor with actual physical machines, be they robots or otherwise. And some are robots, and in fact, I remember, like I said, I saw this this robot arm, cooking some fried noodles, in a wok, and I saw. This was my company, and when I went to Vietnam, this was 5-6 years ago. They had the diagnostic robot that went from patient to patient and could remotely dial in a physical or like a live doctor, human doctor as well, if need be. That was 6 years ago. So there are replacements of that nature. Then there are replacements, we like to call them automation or process automation or process I guess efficiencies, etc. So where you're making complicated things easier, so there's less human interaction required. For example, used to be that if you wanted to buy a computer at work for yourself, for work, you needed the approval of your manager. So your manager would get an email, would approve it, then it goes to supply chain, whatever. That's completely gone now. And what happens is you order the machine, and there's this list of pre-approved things for you that you can do this. So there's no other human interaction other than you ordering. And sometimes the ordering is not even required when your machine fails or something else happens, right? And then, apart from that, then you have other automation kind of tasks where it feels like you're talking to AI, but you're not. It's just a script. Very clever script, like on a telephone, for example, if you call a service desk, right? And you can make certain choices. Choose one or choose two or choose three, and then it gets you through the decision tree that way, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the final iteration, as you know, Dave, is the AI component, and there's specifically agentic AI. Now, what does agentic AI mean? Agentic AI just means that the AI has become an agent.
Yes.
An acting agent, an acting entity that can act even on its own, if need be. But it is now
given
acting,
its programmed parameters and
correct,
task list,
which
Mhm.
may expand, which may in
Yeah.
fact have the capacity to expand. If they can expand, it can learn,
Mhm.
but of course, you see, that's where we are now, right? So no human labor required, and even complex things, and that's where the large language models become problematic
Mhm.
for the rest of humanity. So forget AI consciousness, forget AI, waking up one day thinking I have to destroy the human race because they're parasites. Forget that. That's not the problem at all. The problem is that AI will become very good at what it does, and human beings will no longer be required really to participate in the workforce as they do today. And which brings me to my original point when I started the show just now. A purpose. It will take away our purpose, right? And that's a dangerous thing. So we've seen what happens to a culture, to a civilization, when you take away its purpose. Look at the North American indigenous people. Look at the Australian indigenous people. We've
Mhm.
taken away their purpose. They've got drugs and alcoholism and reservations and all those things. And just imagine the human race having its purpose taken away, right?
There's a big rug to
And
pull. Mm-hmm.
well, it is in many ways, right? And we don't really know which way this would develop, because once, let's say, we achieve singularity, okay, at some point, I'm sure we could. So machine language, so machines or the machine intelligence becomes self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
Is now an actual entity, a person, right? What happens after that? The evolutionary step is comparing an amoeba to us. So the amoeba, or let's talk about prokaryotes and eukaryotes, the original bacterial forms that go back billions of years. They have no idea that one day we would stand here and build machines and fly to other planets, right? In a similar way, we have no concept of what AI or machine intelligence will be capable of at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, maybe for them it will be an easy thing to answer why there is such a thing as quantum entanglement. Maybe they will tell us, yeah, you are in a simulation. Of course, stupid. Of course you are stupid. Okay. And maybe they have a means of getting out of it, even though they don't have a pineal gland, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, Dave, look, it's a brave new world in many ways. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I don't know. I don't know.
One of my
It could be paradise,
books, Brave New World.
right? It is.
Yeah,
it is. But it could be paradise.
It could be, but you know that the only reason why it's going to be perpetuated in its current form is so that the ultra wealthy and those in power,
of course,
remain in power. I know you know this, but for the audience who might be listening to this for the first time, might have just stumbled upon us, and here we are talking about this. The problem is that they want to stay in power, and they don't want the world to change. They still want to be, say, let's call it lording over the rest of us, because without the poor, then they are. If there weren't any more, if there was no one less than a billionaire, then it's just billionaires alive doing what? Just being billionaires to each other? That actually equalizes them all to be just the same people. Like everyone else below them isn't a billionaire, and they're in one group and the billionaires are in another. As long as we exist, they have power. And if we don't exist, they don't have the power to do anything about anything. And they're not special. So I don't see how they would ever relinquish that role on the planet, and they'd have to keep us at some point going so that they remain in their stature. So the thing that I'm worried more about is the only way to perpetuate them being in their group is by giving us a measly existence so that they can stay there. So the UBI, Universal Basic Income, and the whole world changes, Mackie, once we get to that. It isn't what we want.
Completely.
It isn't.
Yeah.
You and I, we grew up at a point in history, in the economic system, where if you work hard, this is the lesson. If you work hard, you can achieve it. You can get what you want. Now, that's extremely complicated premise, because it isn't easy, and you don't always get enough money to do the thing you want. You want changes, and the amount of money you earn might go up or down or change, or and as you evolve through your existence, you want changes, or you realize it's unobtainable. So all of the things that we were told that you could do, and that was the basic premise of the money system, is work hard and you can get what you want. Now people don't even care about working hard, and they don't have any wants anymore. As long as they've got their phone and some internet somewhere, that's all they want. It's all they want. They don't want to own anything. They've been conditioned into that existence. It's not because they saw what we've done. It's just because they are now. You could call them internet zombies in some way. Their endorphins are created by likes, by posts and likes. That's all they have.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying, Dave. That what you just described is absolutely correct and 100% terrifying, because, again, do you know what we've done there? We've taken away purpose.
Yeah.
What purpose is this? So there's no purpose. The purpose is you're doom scrolling.
Mickey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're doom scrolling. And it truly is doom scrolling, right?
Yeah.
And I see it. So of course I see it out in the world. And I mean, the level of obliviousness to the outside world once your face hits that screen is phenomenal. Yeah, look, I use my phone, sure I do, but I don't get sucked into it. Like I see it, like my kids get screen time, right? They do. When they get screen time, I might not even exist. I might as well not exist. None of us.
Exactly.
I mean, as far as they're concerned, the only thing that's there is the screen. So they have limited screen time. Right? My kids don't have their own mobile phones yet, but they need laptop for school, etc., etc. So my little one, he gets a little bit of screen time as well, because he needs to learn how the world works. And I think a bit of time on a touch screen goes a long way to educating him. But look, it's a fact, Dave. It's a fact. There are a few other things. Unless you've got a few more points.
I have something to add.
Yeah, please.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So what's
go.
When you're doom scrolling, what's the direction in which you scroll? It's like being in an elevator going down, because you're scrolling up to the next thing. You scroll it up, but that means in comparison, you go down.
Yeah.
You don't scroll down for you to go upwards. If it were an elevator,
that's right.
You would watch glass elevator, you watch things go past you to go up, or you dissolve down into the midst of the planet. It's almost a hell. If you wanted to be religious and put some connotations around it, why would you ever design something that did that? That to me is
that's an excellent question.
Actual. I think there's purpose there, because it is a forever down that you continue to go on, and it's a depth that you reach, and I think that it's purposeful and deliberate.
And there's no, and to your point, there is no bottom to it.
No, it's endless.
That's the kind of, again, it's a terrifying thing. It reminds me of a movie scene where Loki goes to New York, and he's looking for his father together with Thor, and they come across Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange just opens up a hole, and Loki keeps falling. And then he starts talking to Thor, and they talk about different things, this, and the other, and it takes like a half hour or whatever. And then they bring Loki back, and Loki goes, "I have been falling this whole time." It's a horrible thing, right? But it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think of these doom scrollers, I feel kind of sort of the same way, because that's what they're doing. They're just falling into this hole. And I do see it. Sometimes my daughters, they have a really hard time tearing themselves away from whatever screen it might be. And it's not television. It's not television. Television is easy. Turn it off, done, But no, this is either a laptop or phone, or I've got a couple of Surface thingies and such, whatever, right? Tablets. So yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon. We have sort of painted ourselves into a corner in many ways with this technology.
I'll tell you what I've done, Mackie. I've got an app now that tells me, it announces the amount of hours that I've used the phone. And
that's good.
I tried to get it every single week to say that you've used your phone 2 hours or more less this week than last week. So that comparison it's slowly getting me away from the phone.
Now look, that's a good conscious decision you made, right? A lot of people don't want to do that. Like if you're a heroin addict, you don't want to know how many times you're shooting up, right?
That's right.
You don't. Just enough. I want to shoot up enough, and then some more.
Enough to take the edge off. I want to go to sleep for a while. Yeah.
In a similar fashion, people don't want to know how much time. But you're right, though, and that's a really good thing. I do want to look at a couple of other things that bothered me. Not bothered me, but
got?
I've been talking, and we've had conversations around as well. I've always been saying that Trump is compromised. Okay. And both with Russia and Israel, right? And more and more people are saying it now. Even Andrew Bustamante. So Andrew Bustamante is everyday spy. He's got his own website. He used to be a CIA operative. He is part of the Beyond Skinwalker Ranch investigative team. So it's like a spin-off of Skinwalker Ranch. But, of course, looking at the same kind of phenomena. This is what he said. Trump has compromised the Epstein files. Prove it. Now, I haven't watched this video yet. I will. But I see this more and more. I see more and more people saying what we've been saying for months, that Donald Trump is absolutely compromised. I want to say something to what happened recently. And the sanctions are meaningless. Why are they meaningless? Because they're not hurting Putin. Russia already has sanctions, and now Trump puts more sanctions on the oil companies. Let me be very clear here. Putin is selling oil to everybody that wants it. The sanctions are completely meaningless. And why this is important is Donald Trump is not doing anything that hurts Putin. The sanctions mean nothing. If Trump had given Zelensky the Tomahawk missiles, that would have hurt Putin.
Yeah, that's
didn't happen. It
hurts NATO, Mackie, to prevent them from getting their heating oil.
Yeah, correct.
And we're going into winter.
That's exactly it.
And what did that pipeline remember the pipeline cut and the undersea cable cut?
I do.
What did that do?
Yeah.
That hurt the rest of Europe.
Correct. This is really the kicker here, right? So I mean, Putin doesn't give two flying hoots about what sanctions you put on, right? And again, no tariffs. Okay, now tariffs would be a game changer if you put tariffs on Russia. That would be a game changer for Russia. That would hurt Putin. But no, instead we give him meaningless sanctions. It's the same in the Middle East. Now, the funny thing is this. So what Hamas has proved, and I had a few comments on this on the shorts these couple of days, and the comments are correct. I was saying that the ceasefire seems to be over because Israelis started bombing again. But of course, the bombing was precipitated by Hamas essentially attacking Israeli soldiers, but also Hamas attacking Palestinians, Hamas executing Palestinian civilians, Hamas fighting with other gangs in Gaza for control. So Hamas doesn't need an external enemy. Hamas is quite happy shooting up the Palestinians themselves, right? As horrible as that is. So absolutely. I don't think there are any. Okay, the only innocents here, the only victims are really the Palestinian people. The Hamas organization is a horrible organization, not innocent by any means, should not be involved in any kind of future anything to do with the Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
Israel, or more specifically Netanyahu and his Hitler-esque right-wingers are horrible as well. I mean, it's horrific what has happened there. So there are no winners. And the funny thing is this: the funny thing, not the funny thing, but
Mm-hmm.
Netanyahu supported Hamas, continues to support Hamas. He wants Hamas to be strong. So there is no meaningful opposition to Hamas in the occupied territories, right? Neither in the West Bank nor in Gaza. He doesn't want a strong Palestinian, reasonable government. It doesn't play into his plans. He doesn't want it. So my prediction is the ceasefire is not going to hold. It's not going to be all Israel's fault. Hamas is doing its darndest to sabotage it as well, in my opinion. And I think Netanyahu is going to get his wish, and he's going to take the West Bank and Gaza integrated into a greater Israel. Similarly, and this is now coming out of the mainstream media, by the way, Trump, they say, has done nothing to stop Putin, which is true. If anything, things have gotten worse since Trump got into power for the Ukrainians. Okay, you can stand on your head. It's a fact. I mean, you just open your eyes, you go. And not only that, you know what the really bad thing is here? While all of this is happening, and Trump and his administration are focusing on all of these things, you know, be it Ukraine, be it Israel, etc., whatever, you know, peacemakers, and, you know, stopping 8 wars and not getting the Nobel Peace Prize, which still irks him. While all of this is happening, the government has been shut down for over 3 weeks in the United States. Okay, so government employees are not getting paid, even though some of them have to still work. And the big, beautiful bill that Trump signed into existence and made law, you know, Congress and Senate passed it, has hurt the American people with, you know, significant cuts to Medicare and Medicaid and other things, as well as a massive tax cut to the super rich. And the sticking point here is this. This is the sticking point why the Democrats will not vote to reopen the government, because they don't want millions of Americans to lose their medical insurance or medical help. Now, and this is not some kind of democratic fantasy. It's not some kind of left-leaning insanity, because you have people from the right, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is the biggest one there, agreeing with that stance 100%. In fact, breaking with Trump in a very public fashion, supporting them. Then, of course, you've got the Epstein files, right? And the ongoing saga, now that the book is out, and as Dave has informed us, the censored book is out that was written by Giuffre, by one of the most famous victim of Epstein. Now, bear in mind, Giuffre was only in that circle for 2 years.
That's right.
This is it. Her frame of reference for what happened to her happened within 2 years from, I think, when she was 15 or 16 to 17, 18, something like that, right? Mm-hmm. That was the only time that she was there. Imagine all of the things that have gone on outside, or at the same time even, that you didn't see, but then outside that time frame, because it went on for a long time before and it went on for a long time after. Right? And not just American girls, right? She talks about an orgy with 8 European girls, young girls that didn't speak much English, etc., etc. And how she was forced to be with Prince Andrew 3 times against her will. And you know, I mean, this is really bad for the monarchy, the British monarchy. I mean, Prince Andrew he's done, he's toast, right? And maybe that's a good thing. But there's so many others.
I've got that story that I saw that they posted about him just the other day, and it is. I watched the news talk about this today, and it was Prince Andrew's nights with escorts and high society on UK-funded Thai visits, Mackie.
Thailand?
Yes. And they said there was... Yes. I know what it means without saying it on
Oh
air.
no.
And they said that there was just an endless queue. I think that was the words that the person said. There was an endless queue of people going to his room. So that's what all I wanted to say on that matter, because I want to start the car in the morning.
No. This is important. So in case our listeners aren't familiar with this, Thailand is notorious for sex tourism.
That's correct.
Notorious.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I won't be indelicate, but let me describe it in as delicate a manner as I can. It is notorious, not just for sex tourism. It is notorious for a very specific kind of sex tourism, which involves underaged.
That's correct.
Well, I have to call them victims. I have to call them victims because no other word for it is.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. And that's a horrific.
That's a whole
I didn't know
other
that.
thing going on. That's right.
Yeah,
I know.
That's just anyway. But yeah, that's shocking.
Yeah,
that's shocking.
So it's not looking tremendous for Prince Andrew.
No, things are not looking up. Chin up, old boy. Carry on and all that.
Old chap.
What?
Yeah. So, I know that I've raised this situation, this newfound situation, or newly advised situation. Mind you, it was 20 years ago, right? It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. And someone else had mentioned that didn't stop, and it wasn't isolated just to there. So, one of the staffers or someone at the palace. So it's of concern. And remember when he did that BBC interview, or the
God, yeah.
I watched the
abortion of an interview.
Yeah, I watched the. Have you seen the movie they made about that interview?
No, I have not.
You need to see it. It is fantastic. It's really well done.
What is it called?
I can't tell you right now. I'll get back to. I'll take that on notice.
Okay.
And
okay, no worries.
I'll put the link below in the video in the long form.
Thank you.
I forget. I think the interviewer was Scully from Mulder and Scully from the X-Files.
Okay.
So if you want to hunt it down that way, that's the way to find who it is.
Okay.
And I'll say that the person who was playing Prince Andrew did such a good job. I didn't see the actor. I just saw Prince Andrew. That's what it appeared to be. And he really thought he'd done a great job. According to, the book turned into a movie, he thought he'd done tremendously in that interview, and it was such a train wreck.
It's called Scoop.
Scoop, that's right. Yes.
Am I right? Yeah, Scoop.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get that. I'll
it is. You'll find it. Yeah. So, look, Meki, it's a tremendous example. I remember Nighthawk, who was the station founder on Revolution Radio, and he said that when his band was successful, he even had a Countach. He, believe it or not, Nighthawk, he's a big fellow. It would have been difficult in and out of that car. But he said it was terrible to drive. But he said what he found, what his greatest fear was becoming like the people with all of their money, doing things that they could buy anything they wanted from whoever they wanted, which included whoever they wanted.
Right. Yeah. But see, that is look, we've looked at this before and we spoke. You're 100%. This is the biggest realization, I think. The biggest because most people just have regular lives. They do what they do, and they live within their means. They might even be well off, but
for the rest of us, yeah.
But to be in a position where you could truly have anything you wanted, right?
Yeah,
that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah,
right.
I once said, so let's just make a stupid premise up. So, I would like some endangered species of some kind. I don't care what it is, as long as I can eat it. Fly it in from whatever country. I want to have that for dinner. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the nicest way of putting it.
Yeah.
But it could be just exchange
women,
any of those words for anything that you want.
Yeah, but then also not only buying things, but even people having, throwing themselves at you, if you will. In all manner of...
I failed to see the disincentive there. I think that would kind of be all right.
But look, that's really important. Now, I did want to say one thing because it's specifically for you. There was a great comment that we had on Platos Cave.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the comment from Benjamin Cooper P9F. Benjamin Cooper P9F. My grandpa was mayor of Bathurst and petitioned state parliament to get the Mount Panorama dirt track sealed for the local rev heads of the 50s so they could race properly. Macquarie agreed, or Macquarie Street agreed, and the rest is history. Thanks, Grandpa. Sadly missed. Rest in peace.
Oh my goodness! Thank you, because we did mention that. Hey, Dave, where have you been? I said Bathurst. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
I completely agree with you, and there should be a statue of that of your grandpa.
I reckon.
100%.
But yeah, so I thought that was a really nice comment as well. So, and we've had some great comments, of course, over the last little bit. But yeah, look, this is really the problem, right? I mean, power, and affluence, and this they go hand in hand, and they usually, not always, but usually brew up something that is quite despicable and nasty, which it did in this case. And again, just because Epstein is dead, and I think he's dead. I know there are other thoughts out there, and that's cool, but I think he is dead. But just because he's dead, don't think that this kind of stuff doesn't exist anymore. Okay, just to be clear, because there's a market. If there's a market, somebody's going to supply the market with whatever the market wants, and there clearly is a market. So someone else, maybe not on quite the grand scheme as Epstein, and maybe not quite as socially, connected. But I guarantee you, these things are still ongoing. One other thing I wanted to mention:
the P. Diddy thing that went nowhere.
Oh, well, that's interesting, isn't it? Well, it didn't go nowhere. He did. He just
got domestic abuse.
Guilty.
That was all. That's right.
And also transporting a prostitute over state lines or some crazy thing.
I know, right?
Find. It's like what? Right. What is that?
Like no, the head of the mafia getting tax fraud, right?
Look, exactly. That's exactly it. So he's been. I don't know if he's been sentenced yet, but he certainly had his day in court. I don't know if the sentencing has happened. I apologize. But yeah, look. But these things. And again, I would be astounded if P. Diddy and Epstein did not know each other and did some things together. I would be astounded, right?
Yeah.
But there's one other thing. You mentioned the No Kings protest that happened in the States over the weekend.
Yep.
7 odd million or so. Again, not critical mass yet, I don't think. That's my opinion. Not critical mass for massive change. However, completely peaceful. Completely and utterly peaceful, the entire thing, which I thought it's a tremendous effort for any kind of protest or demonstration, especially one that had 2,500 cities, 7 million odd participants, and no violence. I mean, personally, I think that's a tremendous achievement. I really do. And I'd like to see every protest be like this.
Yeah. There's a couple of stories with this. Remember how I said, Becky, that on our show months ago, that it appears as though we've now stepped into a world of kingdoms.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Because it's the way that the behavior, the geopolitical landscape right now just appears to be kingdoms. It's not democratically run and best for the people. It's just for want of a better description, kings doing what they want. Now, it's quite strange. I don't think that we've really grasped this. And the No Kings protest, also known internationally as the No Dictators, No Tyrants protest, I think it's really important but it's not big enough. There
No,
was
not yet.
not yet, no. And it did say millions turned out for the anti-Trump No Kings protest across the US. I think,
But
Becky,
not enough millions.
yeah, not enough. Bring more, do it again, get it bigger.
Yeah.
They're talking about large crowds, but really, there's that the threshold wasn't reached, Mackie, for change, and that disturbs me. It really does. Why are we where we are, Mackie?
Look, I can tell you why we are where we are. It's a very simple. It's a failure. It's a failure of the system that we have, I guess, fostered over the last 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
When we first came up with this system, and it made sense because industrialization, workers' rights, unions, protests, working conditions, that there was a real need for a party that represents the workers.
Mm-hmm.
There was a real need for a party to represent the capital as well. You know, the investors, the capitalists, etc., and everybody in between, different kind of things. You know, smaller parties, but usually there was a polarization between the workers or the working class, and then I guess what you would call the capitalist class, if you want.
Sure.
And that was duplicated in almost every country. The problem that we're facing, or the problem that has led to Donald Trump's ascension, and Donald Trump is not the problem. I want to be very clear here. Donald Trump is a symptom of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
If the problem didn't exist, Donald Trump wouldn't be in power.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this goes with any demagogue. And we saw the same thing after World War I in Germany, in Italy, in other places. Now, what they had there was uncertainty, economic collapse, and that's what led to polarization. Our polarization is occurring because of all of those things. Yes, there are economic problems. Yes, there are problems of new technologies, people having living in uncertain times. Yes, all of this is true. And technology and science is running away from us to the extent that many of us can't keep up with it, which leads to even further uncertainty. But more than that, the systems we put in place 100 years ago, 120, 130 years ago even, are no longer reflecting the need of the people today.
Mm-hmm.
They no longer reflect realities on the ground. I mean, the best example is the UN, United Nations, the Security Council. The Security Council is a council that is really the heart of the UN, and ultimately they're in charge. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is there, that's nice, but they're really in charge, right? And they're permanent members. And the permanent members are Russia, or formerly the Soviet Union, but Russia, United States of America, right? So you can see why those are there. It makes sense. China, that makes sense, to be honest, from a population point of view. But France and Great Britain, why would they be there? That makes no sense at all. And where's India? Where's Brazil? Right? Just for instance, right? Or Indonesia. I mean, this is the largest Muslim nation on the planet. Mm-hmm. And peaceful. I mean, if you look at, if you think that Islam is a violent religion that always needs terrorism, look at Indonesia. Okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, there are issues. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but it's, it's nothing like you see in the Middle East, right?
All religions have issues.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But the problem is, Dave, that Donald Trump represented something else from the norm. He was not part of, initially at least, he was not part of the party political system.
He didn't go to West Point.
Didn't go to West Point. He didn't go to. In fact, he wasn't part of politics per se, right? He was a businessman of middling success. People have said recently that he would be in a better financial situation if he had taken his inheritance and invested it in blue chip stocks. He would be in a better financial situation.
Bitcoin. No. That's right.
Yeah, but he didn't. He decided to be a businessman and whatever. And look, he's a crook. He's a pirate. He's many things, right? But he was not a politician. So the people thought, okay, well, he can drain the swamp. Little did we know, because we didn't see it in the first administration.
That's right.
Because he didn't get to do what he wanted to do. Remember, he didn't get to do what he wanted to do.
No, that's right.
And then COVID happened, and so we didn't really see Trump in full flight.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we are seeing Trump in full flight, it is very clear that he has no interest at all in helping the American people with anything Like, the only thing he wants is to enrich himself, which he is doing. Whatever Trump is doing, he's doing for himself. And more than that, because, again, like I said, I believe that both Israel or Netanyahu and Russia, or Putin rather, have compromising material in him. He will never do anything that's not good for them. But he will always do what's good for him. But recently, he has done very little that's good for the American people. Is it the music, Dave?
Yes, it is.
Oh, jeez. This has been Plato's Cave. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate it. Today is Thursday, which means we will be with you on Sunday with the shiny side out. So don't go anywhere. Something else is going to come up here. It's going to be awesome. Again, like, subscribe, share, comment, and find other stations. Donate if you can. But most of all, Dave,
be safe, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.